Alright, hello and welcome to another Why Would You Use. So, today we're going to be going over the AkBronco Primes, which, honestly, I didn't really think we're going to get a Why Would You Use ever, until they got buffed. Once they got buffed, these weapons become a thing that you are almost certainly going to want to keep around. And I say keep around because with how unbelievably common these parts are, if you do not have a set of them, by the time you can build them, something has gone horrifically wrong. Because they are thrown at you. And if you seek them out, you can't fucking avoid them. It's done. You already got the set. Like, you thought about going to get a set, and then you looked in your foundry, and you have it already. It's building, even. You didn't even realize you started building it. That is how fucking unbelievably common this weapon is, and it's useful now. So, this is a basic one-forma build. The hardest thing to get here is Jolt, which, honestly, by the time you can build these, if you don't have a Jolt from Borrow, you're eagerly anticipating the next time he brings it. So, get a Jolt is the basics of that. You should grab one. You should have one of these, and you should have one of the shotgun ones, for sure, because they're so useful. So, with that, this is a very simple build. One Forma. The One Forma is only to have a max convulsion in here. You can put an 8-cost convulsion in here with no Forma if you don't want to spend Forma on it. It works absolutely fine. It's almost the same. I just put the Forma in to max it out because these weapons are pretty solid and pretty fun, too. So the main use for these is that these are 100% status shotguns before multi-shot. So, much like the Tiger's Prime, these proc a lot of fucking status. Unfortunately, they are not mainly slash-based, but they do have a respectable amount of slash damage, so you're going to proc it a little bit. Let's show, though, the main attraction to why you would want these and why you just want to have them. And that is, fuck armor. So we have this Corrupted Bombard here, who's level 150. That is a lot of fucking armor. That's armor that you don't want to deal with that with raw damage. And we're going to show that in a second, why you don't want to deal with that with raw damage. You want to remove that. Because removing that is a way easier option. And these weapons on unarmored opponents are pretty much going to wipe them out. So, let's go. So, we got our dude here. And he's got a lot of armor. And then he doesn't have a lot of armor. And he has no armor, and then he's dead. These are very useful for getting rid of armor. They're so easy access, and with such a low cost to get the build together, that as long as you can get to the MR of these weapons, you should have some. It's as simple as that. These are incredibly useful in sorties where you need to strip the armor of the boss, if you're not going with a constructed party that all has corrosive projection, etc, etc. There are plenty of situations where you need to get rid of armor, and these fill pretty much every single one of them with the exception of sentience. So, for comparison's sake, if you don't strip armor, we're going to show the Euphona Prime. The Euphona Prime is an incredibly expensive weapon to put together, and it does a hell of a lot of just raw damage, raw critical damage. So, we're going to show how that stacks up against this kind of armor. Whoop, there we go. It's not great. Using raw damage to try and hurt an enemy like this is not a smart plan. And we're going to go with all headshots. Which, by the way, not really a realistic scenario that you're going to be doing out in the field. This is how resistant this enemy is to raw damage, because this is just how much armor it has. So with this, you're not getting anywhere. You're gonna need some status to get through that business, because it's gonna be a real bad time otherwise. So with that, that's why you need an armor stripper. Alternatively, of course, if you are going to put together a Tiger's Prime build, we'll just show that real fast. This kind of skips the problem of armor, because most of the damage that this weapon does doesn't care about armor. So, we'll just show that for comparison's sake to the AkBronco, I guess. The primary shotgun of choice. This does slash, so... yeah. Also, worth noting, this is my punch-through build. This hits multiple enemies. But yeah. It's not a Tigress Prime. The AkBroncos are not a Tigress Prime. They have no real chance of being a Tigress Prime. Pretty much nothing in the game has a chance of being a Tigress Prime at this point. But they are super useful. You are going to get a set of these, whether you like it or not. You should build them. They're worth it. And that's the AkBronco Primes, basically. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this. I know this isn't like a regular why would you use, because we didn't do the normal test, but they kill the enemies in the normal test just fine, and that's not really what these weapons are for. Like, it's pretty obvious and plain to see that the enemies in the normal test aren't really going to matter when stacked up against these, and they die in like 1 or 2 shots. But yeah, that's what these things are for. So that's why you would use them, and I will see you guys. Well, actually, later today, there is going to be a slight schedule change this week, and Persona is today, and probably also on Saturday. So if you want to come check out the Persona stream, it is today. So I'm going to be streaming that. Check the Discord for like right whenever I'm going to go live. And I will hopefully see you there. Later, everyone.